Hey guys, it's Seth. This is gonna be a little bit of a, well, I want to say different, but honestly, it's almost going back to what I used to do. If you've watched some of my earlier videos, you can see they're kind of more ranty, more just talking sort of things, and this is gonna be that a little bit, but more of a story because something happened a few weeks ago that's really kind of impacted a lot of my thought processes, and I just wanted to share it because I have a feeling it'll be helpful to more than just me. I actually have a friend specifically I was talking to earlier, and I wanted to share this story with him. So I wanted to make this now and kind of talk about, well, probably one of the worst things that's happened to me since 2012. So I'm going to be skimping and leaving out details because there's just some things that aren't mine to share. Did the story affect me? Yes, but it doesn't mean I need to be talking about it out and about everywhere. It's just not mine to share. But let's just get into this. Right around the time I moved into this house, I found out that a friend I'd had for a very long time essentially just betrayed me in ways that were pretty big. I don't consider him a friend anymore. I wish I could, but I just can't after everything that happened. And there was a lot of ugly fallout that happened, and I don't know where he stands with a lot of things now. And part of me still blames myself for the path he took. I know it's not my fault, but I look back, and you can't help but look back at memories and see, or in this case, wonder how you didn't see things earlier. Every time I think about that, I just kick myself, but I know I'm not to blame. I can't take credit for his actions, essentially. And it was really difficult to go through, and I'm blessed to have some amazing friends who were able to help me through this. So I'm here now. I'm fine. I don't blame myself nearly as much as I used to. It still hurts whenever I see him, the rare occasions it happens, but I'm better than I was a year ago. But one thing that really got me in the middle of everything happening was seeing how one of my friends reacted to it. A friend of mine who was a lot closer to the situation than I was. I'm trying not to be too descriptive, but just seeing how they were still just praying for him and praying for the people that led him down this path. And I was like, dang, I couldn't do that. My faith's just not there. I could not be praying like they are praying right now. I just couldn't do it. Honestly, I still don't, but we'll get into more of that later. Long story short, it happened. And because of that, a lot of things I did for fun just kind of died because they were things I would do around him, things I would pretty much only do with him. And they just died. So I saw a lot of my social life in that sense just kind of nosedive, which is why I'm glad for these friends who you've seen in CaliCon video and stuff like that. I can't find out when it actually was that I first saw this, but an old page I had followed that of a group that had come to a school event of mine when I went to NNU had posted about a Saturday improv class. Just a, quick, I think it was like two hours, maybe four, a 4-hour class of just going and learning improv for the afternoon sort of time. And I thought, that sounds interesting. I know very little about improv other than what I've seen on like Whose Line Is It Anyway, but that sounds fun. Cool, yeah, sure, I'd like to try that. Just be a dork for an afternoon, whatever. And I loved it. I had a lot of fun. And so the person who taught that class taught a 4-week class after that. And I took that. And it was a lot of fun. And from there, I talked with her saying, like, I want to do more. I'd like to learn more about improv. And so I got introduced to another improv coach. And I took classes with him. And I loved it more. And I took another improv class. It was so much fun. I actually got to be on stage. Actually, I'll post a picture somewhere on the screen to show what the class show was like. There weren't a lot of pictures, they're not great. It was dark, but it was so much fun. And that's when I started to realize something. If you know anything about improv, there's this thing called yes and. The whole idea is that if something is said, it's true. It's not necessarily saying you have to agree with everything that's said on stage. It just means that whatever is said on stage is true. So the idea of yes-anding is like that same sort of thing. Like if someone says, oh, look, there's a purple dinosaur. You can't come out and say, that's not a dinosaur, that's a steak. the audience then is confused on what's happening. Your partner's confused on stage is confused on what's happening, and it's not really helping build the scene. If someone comes out saying, yes, oh look, there's a purple dinosaur on stage, you can say like, yeah, those yellow spikes on his back are really strange. You're not denying the reality of there being a purple dinosaur on stage. Not necessarily liking the fact that there's a purple dinosaur on stage. You can say like, there's a purple dinosaur on stage. He's like, I hate Barney. I hate him. He killed my family. That'd be a perfect example of yes-anding. Because now the reality of that scene is Barney killed my family. Barney the purple singing dinosaur on PBS killed my family. And that is now the reality of the scene. Though the other person can not care about that, they can do whatever they want with that, as long as they don't deny the fact that, yes, Barney the dinosaur killed his family. While this may seem completely and totally unrelated to what I started the story off with, it actually kind of is. Because the thing is, and this is coming from me, and I've been a goofball my entire life. I made a video where I was a dinosaur mowing my lawn. This kind of stuff comes naturally to me. But a lot of people say like, oh no, I couldn't do improv, that's too hard. I couldn't do that, that's just not for me. But it's not that hard. It really isn't. You just gotta go out. You have a few basic, rules. You yes-anding. It's good to know who know who the other character is. That kind of stuff. There's some basic things to help it flow easier, but it's really not that hard when you break down to it. But you have all these people say, no, I couldn't do that. That's too hard. Just like I said about my friend who was praying for people who led my friend astray. And that's when it hit me around the time of that show. How I was now perfectly and totally willing to go on stage with people I knew and make things up off the cuff. Things that might make myself look like an idiot, which I've done, and I'm perfectly fine with that. But when it comes to doing things that God has told me to do, through his word and other just things, I'm like, no, I can't, that's too hard, God. Even though, when I'm on stage, I don't have a script. He knows what's going on. Yet I'm more willing to trust myself with nothing than him with a plan. And that just, that hurts. That hurt me when I realized I was doing that. And it still does. Because I'm sitting here, even after realizing this, not praying as much as I should for my old friend. Not trusting God with things I know he's told me to do. Yet also very disappointed that my improv class got canceled. And that dissonance of my mind has really convicted me. But at the same time, it makes me wonder if this whole year-long process of going from losing my friend to taking improv was part of God's plan to show me that I don't need to know what's happening to be comfortable where I'm at. Which is easier said than done, but he's shown me I can do it. I do it on stage. I do it in front of friends. There were a bunch of people in the audience that I knew when I was on stage. There was also a bunch of people I didn't know, and was more than willing to make myself look like an idiot around. Yet when it comes to being around people in my life that I know and care for, or random people I don't know, I should also be willing to make myself look like an idiot if it's what God's calling me to do. Is it easy? No. But just like improv, I think anyone can do it. And I think I can do it. In fact, I know I can do it. It's just the looking to God and saying yes and. Yes anding the offers he gives me. Okay, God, this is reality. Yes. And what next? And on that note, it's time to start writing. This is Seth. It's been a thorn that's been in my side quite literally for the last few weeks. Been just waiting to share this, so take care. Oh, actually, just for fun, let's see the stupid things I've done on stage. I've pretended to be a dog. I have eaten something that was that I thought was oatmeal that wasn't. Um, I've been a hillbilly eating gas station sushi, and I was a little kid that threw up on stage.